The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 3rd day of June, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sherry.
Yes.
It's your favorite day of the week.
It is. Let's do the Friday shake or the Jamal shake. Which one is it?
No. You've got the Sherry shake. I've got the Hartman bounce.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Hartman
shake, the Hartman bump. Yeah. You get. Come on now. Everybody knows Hartman bounce is a bit better than the Sherry shake. You know.
I doubt that. I doubt it.
I can prove it to you, but you have not paid me enough to see that today. But look, how was your evening? How's your week been? How's things going?
It's been going good. It's been quite busy. Had some out of town guests. So just been, you know how that is. So
people come to visit you?
Yeah. Unlike yourself, who said that you would this weekend, but that's fine.
No, we'll talk about that another time. We'll talk about that another time. I'm just saying, you putting my business out on the street like that. So look, I had a long night. You all know me. I'm in bed by 9 usually, but for some reason, the National Basketball Association, known as the NBA to people, they decide to have games on the West Coast. I don't know why everything's got to be on the West Coast, but the games start a bit later.
Yes.
So let me just say, I predicted to a good friend of mine who is a basketball, like she is basketball, Bermuda basketball. And I predicted to her yesterday, I said, don't be surprised if the Celtics sweep the Warriors. Now, people think I'm crazy, right, when I say things like this.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have former colleagues who say, you know what, you overanalyze. And I'm like, no, it's not that I overanalyze. It's just, I just look at things a bit differently than others. We're conditioned to look at things based on popularity and likability and stuff, rather than looking at things for, let me put my personal feelings aside and just who I want to win versus who has a better chance to win, right?
Okay.
So it's like Donald Trump. Everybody and their mama thought Donald Trump wasn't going to win 2016. I said to Larry Marshall Sr., I said to this same friend, I was like, he's going to win this election. No, it's not. He can't. I said, you got to be a reader of people. And it's not who's speaking, it's who's not saying anything. And you can't base people's actions based on the emotion of few. So all that said, I was not surprised to see the Celtics win in the manner that they did. They're a young team, they've got energy and so on. So folks, if you haven't, most of us don't know because not many people seem to watch basketball anymore, but the NBA finals did begin last night, the Celtics and Warriors, and Sherry's going to be for the team that doesn't win, and I'll be for the team that does win. That's how we're going to cheer on this show. All right?
Sure, Jamal. I'll give you that. That's fine. Take that.
Yeah. I mean, we were both for the Braves. Well, no, she didn't even know what the Braves were. She just knew something in Atlanta was happening when they were playing in the World Series last year. So,
yeah. Hush your mouth. I knew what the Braves were doing and what they were about. And
they play baseball, Sherry. They swing a bat.
I know. I've been to a game.
Okay, all right.
Hopefully, I'll be to one this summer.
Oh yeah. Well, when I come, we can't tell everybody our bit. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. No, later.
Be in
Later.
Atlanta, folks. We're gonna go to a baseball game. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about sports and Sherry's, putting my business all out on the street like that. Getting like Liana, folks. Getting like Liana, who I believe is a Celtics fan as well. So we'll bring her in later. But there's a big front page story today in the Royal Gazette. And our good friends at the Royal Gazette, the article's titled Youth Employment at 30%, right? But before that, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome the CEO of One Communications, Mr. Frank Amaral, to the show. They've got some good things happening, so you don't want to miss that. The Daily Play is, well, Sherry's going to try to stump me. And
with a variety of questions.
Yeah, you all know how that works out usually. It doesn't. So, yeah. So look, big front page story, youth unemployment at 30%, right? And this is according to the Royal Gazette. Almost 1 in 3 young Bermudians, adults, right, are unemployed. The government, that's per the government. So they're apparently launching this national youth policy strategy aimed at dealing with the issue. Jason Hayward, the Minister of Economy and Labor, rejected suggestions that the figure represented a failure by successive progressive Labor body governments. That's according to the Royal Gazette. Asked about the levels of youth unemployment among 18 to 26-year-olds, the minister said the latest official figures would have been roughly around 30%. He said the overall unemployment rate was 7%. Let me just make this clear before we even get into the conversation and the question. I do not like the term unemployment because I think unemployment is not a clear picture. When I finished graduate school, I had a good friend. I'm actually connected with him on LinkedIn, first time in almost 10 years the other day. And he wanted to go back to India right after finishing. I said, oh, you're not going to try, stay work? I said, the economy is bouncing back. This is 2012. Yeah. Economy is bouncing back. He said, no, the economy is bouncing back for certain jobs that he wasn't willing to do. And that was the first time I really thought about underemployment. And I think, I used to say to former Premier Michael Dunkley all the time that, and Kenner, that you promised 2,000 jobs, but what are those jobs? What is a job if people can't afford to feed themselves and if they still need government assistance or help? So my point is, when I see conversations or articles or topics about unemployment, it's like, well, unless this is mentioned underemployment as well, then I think it's just pointless. So what's the point of, having a strategy in place if it's not going to address that? So the question of the morning, folks, is what needs to be done to address the youth unemployment problem in Bermuda? What are your thoughts? What do you think needs to be done to address the youth unemployment problem in Bermuda? Sherry, should we go to the audience or should I give the government suggestions before you jump in?
I say go to the audience. I don't think we usually do that.
Well, the audience needs a chance to get their answers in. So I'll give them a second. But let me share what the government said. So the government says, well, let's go here. For the European figure apparently was at 14.8%, right? Well, the 9 elements of the National Youth Employment Strategy, this is in the Royal Gazette, is to ensure young Bermudians are qualified to take advantage of job opportunities by increasing training opportunities, expanding career support services, pushing subjects such as science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, providing relevant work experience and apprenticeships, increase access to career information and opportunities, encourage the development of future business owners by supporting youth entrepreneurship, help vulnerable youth, improve social protections, encouraging young Bermudians to return home. See, something about these bullet points, it's not enough for me. So let me expand on that, Sherry. Improve social protections. What does that look like? What does it mean? Help vulnerable youth. How are you planning on doing that? Encouraging young Bermudians to return home. Why do they want to return home? Like what's the incentive for them to return home? Encourage development of future business owners by supporting youth entrepreneurship. Don't you already do that with BDC? Increase access to career information and opportunity. See, here's the problem with the government. Here's the problem with the government that I think they're up against. Unless you're offering these opportunities, which you don't have the money to do, you really have a tough one because you can't really tell private entities who to hire and why to hire them, right? It's a tough
Yeah.
position. But I feel like we've seen this list before. What
Mm.
what are your thoughts? What needs to be done to address the youth unemployment problem in Bermuda? What are your solutions?
So, Jamal, you must, you seem to be walking around in my brain. That's
Uh-oh.
scary. Yeah. Because as you're saying this list, and as I looked at it, I'm just like, okay, it's words on paper. What are we doing? How are we getting to these places that they are suggesting in Bermuda with the government that doesn't have any money? I love what you said in regards to, you know, you're going to go to school, and when you talk about unemployment, what jobs are we talking about, and what jobs are available for youth in the fields that they want to be in. So it's difficult to say what it is that you're going to put these youth into
Mm,
when we don't even know, or we're not even listening to them to say what it is, what kind of jobs they are interested in. We're going to continue to be underemployed or unemployed, or that group without jobs, if we don't have anything, as you said, to entice them, or an incentive for them to be in these positions.
mm.
Why should I come home after school?
Well,
Why?
it's interesting because Mr. Hayward goes on to say over the past few decades, many Bermudians have immigrated to other parts of the world searching for job opportunities. We can and must minimize the number of locals leaving. Oh, you're speaking. I mean, we're two Bermudians right here that are not in Bermuda and are working in our spaces outside of Bermuda. Literally. Like,
Yes.
I mean, what would be an incentive for me to return Bermuda? Honestly, just that's just me being honest. Like, I
Yeah.
literally, and I say this so seriously. When you are led by incompetent people who are in politics for a paycheck and have not anything to their name outside of that, it's discouraging. Now, people can say what they want about U.S. politics, but truth be told, truth be told, the United States is a large place.
And when you talk about the archaic employment industry in Bermuda, in some sectors,
Mhm,
we are so behind in certain fields and in certain areas that is discouraging. Why do I want to come home with this 2022 degree, and Bermuda's still in 2000? We haven't even progressed in certain areas for me to even want to be like, oh, let me go home and do what I just learned.
mm, mm.
No.
Well, I think I don't believe young Bermudians see opportunities for themselves in Bermuda. You know, I'm a firm believer that people need to grow beyond their environment. If you ever see what
Yes.
I post on Twitter or my private post, one of my thing I say it all the time. We have to grow beyond our environment. You know, I find it shocking that some of the supposed leaders, or what's that stupid term people use, influencers in Bermuda. I find it hard to believe that some of them have not left that small space
Hmm.
in 10 years. You cannot tell me that these are the people we need to follow.
That
We
you can
need
influence me.
we need people to grow beyond their environment. Because I'll tell you what, and I'm gonna pick on our guest today. As a CEO, I truly believe he would rather someone who has been outside of Bermuda, had up an experience beyond their environment, than someone who just comes back and is looking for a job.
Right.
One thing I took advantage of when I finished both undergraduate and graduate school is, like, what's that thing called? OPT, optical practical training. The
I guess.
Yeah, the thing you sought to work in the U.S. after you finish school. I took it.
Oh, I didn't have that.
I think it's called OPT. You didn't need it because
Okay.
you had
No.
residency already, but
Mm.
I took advantage of that, and I was lucky, however you figure. I was very, very lucky to land jobs in radio and, you know, some of the jobs companies that I was able to work for. So when I returned to Bermuda, and I went through an interview process, it was helpful. It
Hmm.
it set me apart because I had worked for what's the number one media company in the world at the time. I don't know if Disney still is, but it helps. I encourage Bermudians, honestly, make it's more than a degree. Honestly, I don't
Yeah.
even think degrees should be on job descriptions unless it's a specific doctor or
Yeah.
something that's saving lives. I don't think degrees should be there because truthfully, there's not much pay between someone with a degree and someone without these days.
And I was going to say, Jamal, yes, we need to grow beyond our environment and have this again, this special techniques and vast learning. But what happens when we come back with all of that excitement, all of those things that we just learned, and it's like, no, we just want to stay right here. You see what I mean? And then you just end up feeling like you're in this box. But we have to learn to think outside of Bermuda, even when we live there, if that makes any sense.
Well, I'm going to give some credit then. So when I returned to Bermuda in 2007, I had interviewed with a couple of companies. And keep in mind, I was coming from the US where they were technological advanced in the radio space and so on. And one particular company I went to, I was in shock at how archaic their systems were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I utter shock. And then the final company I went to, obviously, which I ended up working for, Untitled Communications, was almost beyond where I was coming from in terms of technology. And they were new,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
technologically they were advanced. In order for young Bermudians to have those opportunities, and I'm going to put it on young Bermudians, one, get as much experience outside of Bermuda
Yeah.
as possible. Do not rush back home.
Mm-mm.
Get as much, and when I say experience, I'm talking about good experience. I'm not saying just work somewhere and put it on your resume, but go learn. Make sure you learn more than you did in the classroom. Find a
Absolutely.
mentor in that space you're learning at. Join, another thing, I didn't join clubs just to put it on my resume. I don't even put any of that stuff on my resume. I joined the radio club and was the first president of the radio station at my school because I wanted to work in radio. I
Right.
joined the television club because I wanted to work. Some people just join these clubs because they want to put things on their resume. And that's the Bermudian way. I mean, you start seeing people volunteer in Bermuda, the trajectory is usually, oh, this is my path to politics. No, do
Mm-hmm.
stuff because you love it and you know it can benefit your career and others along the way. So I think there's ways to do this. Let's go to the comments. Question of the morning: what needs to be done to address the youth unemployment problem in Bermuda? Karen Simmons sharing.
Yes, correct. Underemployment is more representative. You are asking private companies to provide these opportunities who have their own criteria, which are specific to them.
Yeah, you cannot
Absolutely.
tell a private company, a private CEO, they need to hire young Bermudians. Like what you need to do is create policies or an education system that prepares them for the environment that that private company is looking for, the person that they're looking for. Michelle White says, we have been in this space before. Immediately assess job categories as well as transferable skills and work with industries to create entry-level positions. May require concessions. Why not? Especially for smaller businesses. I concur.
Mm-hmm.
Transferable skills. We've had this conversation many times on this show, folks. We've had them. Teresa Ann Marie, she says, I think the key is what have the 70% of you that are employed done differently? And from the 30% that aren't.
I like that. I like that.
This is a question that needs to be put to the minister. Of course, that particular
Mm-hmm.
minister will never find himself on this show. But anyway, I think that's a good question. What are the 70% doing that the others aren't? Here's a guess, and I'm not saying this is accurate, folks. My guess is that 70%, a majority of them are underemployed. That's going to be my
Mm,
guess.
got
Because
you.
truthfully, we just don't live in an environment where people can go without work.
Right.
We don't. So therefore, people are going to take certain jobs and put themselves in position to at least have a paycheck, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
What
Pretty
needs
much.
What needs to be done to address youth unemployment in Bermuda? We've got Michelle White. Second, government must maintain relationships with these businesses so they avoid a begging relationship. Rosalind
Oh,
Payne said, start by talking with the youth who are not employed. Find out straight from them what's going on. I want to discuss, like, I know they mentioned, Minister Jason Haywood mentioned that focusing on science, math, technology. Now, you all know what happened with me. They try to push me towards international business and insurance and all that stuff. Jamel was not having that. That was not my interest. Um,
right.
I probably would still be doing my undergrad degree right now if they pushed me there. Um, See, I don't think it's necessarily pushing. I think I'm going to use the Montessori vibe. It's about finding out what people are good at and how you can integrate that into the needs of the workforce. But I don't think it's just about pushing people. You know, Sherry?
No, I agree. It's not about pushing. It again. It's finding out what industries and what sectors young people really want to hone in, and providing those opportunities for them to be able to excel in those areas that they are passionate about, and not be underemployed. And just as you say, getting a paycheck. When I first went to school, I wanted to do fashion merchandising, and my dream was to go back to Bermuda and work at Trimminghams, if anybody remembers that.
Yeah, we're young.
But, but then I was like, Trimminghams? I just want to be in Trimminghams. I didn't even, with even the status that I had to be in the States, I was like, I'm going back home, going back home. And then something hit me. I was like, nah, let me see what's going on out here. So and that was probably the best decision ever
Mm.
to do that. But I also was able to come back to Bermuda with the skills that I did learn um, out here in Georgia, and use them in Bermuda as much as I was able to.
I want to say this. I think the opposite of what you've said, opposite of what the audience has said, and opposite of what I've said. I think Steve Perra's comments from, I think, 2009 in Bermuda, and I repeat this quote often on this show.
Yeah.
The answer isn't in any of what we're saying. The answer is what Steve Perry said, quote, we need to prepare our children for things that don't yet exist. Here's the point I'm making is you were pushing Jamel, a guy that just likes to talk and press buttons here, right? Towards international business, insurance, finance. Well, that was about 20 years ago. 20 years later, these international companies actually have their own podcast because they don't have people in house who know how to produce and do stuff like that. Most of them actually outsource and find people to do it. Now, if you would have thought back then 20 years ago, you know what? Um, Maybe let's push you towards that. You can do broadcasting or radio production or whatever it is,
Yeah.
communications. And who knows, you can go in and change that industry and they can start producing their own content. But
Hmm.
social media wasn't a thing there. So I think the answer is truly back to Steve Perry. The we need to prepare our children for things that don't yet exist. And I am a big fan of that.
Absolutely.
This show did not exist. Shows like this did not exist not long ago. Out of the pandemic, new opportunities came. So I love the mystery of uh something that may happen that no one
Hmm.
thought of, but the person that's delivering it. And that's Steve Jobs, you know. It's not about
Yes.
asking people what they want. It's about creating a demand for something that you tell them that they want. So um, let's bring Leanna in and see what
I'll
Lee says.
say.
Yeah, Lee. Good morning, Lee. How are you, sister?
Good morning, guys. It's Friday then. It's Saturday,
Ah,
Sunday.
ah,
Oh,
I like
That was
that.
my
so
energy for the morning. Bright colors and bubbly
so hold on, hold
I
on.
love
We got the
it.
Robin Bones, we got the Sherry Shake, and we got the Leanna.
twist. I
The
don't know.
There you go.
yes,
Leanna Twist.
because I was sitting there trying to think Lee, La, some
Yeah,
like okay,
Leanna Twist.
yes,
Leanna Twist. I like it.
The Lambert twist. The Lambert twist.
The Lambert Twist. I like that. I like.
yes.
All right, folks, you heard it first. Lee, you want anything on this? You want in on this?
I just agree with what you guys have been talking about.
She was
I mean,
like, no.
I, yeah, Sherry, I don't even think I could add any more. I mean, I think I've said it numerous amount of times on the show when we've discussed unemployment and various things of the nature of the fact that we need to have other means for students and young people to be able to get involved in and stop relying on academics solely. Um, that's always been my stance. I mean, I'm in the arts. I consider what I do a part of the arts, communications, broadcasting,
Mhm.
PR. I think that's not a academia sort of job because it requires personality and it
Correct.
requires learning how to speak and all of that type of thing. So I feel like we need to continuously bring back our trade schools. I keep saying it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think, like I said, unless you're saving lives, I'm not quite sure a specific amount of schooling is necessary. Um,
Yeah.
Exactly,
Now, keep
exactly.
in mind, certain trades are saving lives. Like an electrician is saving
Hmm.
lives. Like if you
Yeah,
wire a house wrongly,
yeah,
up in flames goes. So I don't want you all think I'm just speaking about doctors. Let me just be clear, right? If you're in a position where you're responsible for the lives of others, yeah, probably a degree. Some people may say, well, police officers don't have a degree. The level of training that they have to go through, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They've got physical training and it's extensive, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
it will be good. Like you said, I managed to get at least a year or two outside of university once I had finished and stayed overseas. So I agree with you, Jamal. That
Mhm.
experience, I feel like put me on a different category, I would say.
Lee,
Um,
was this when you stayed in Spain?
No, this is actually after I had finished university and I stayed in London and was an assistant television producer. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I love
Yeah.
production and they were willing to give me a shot. So, I could have rushed back home
Mhm.
and, to our couple media sources that we had on the island at the time
Not much
and
choice.
took my chances, but I said no, I'd rather see what the other side and what opportunities were presented over there, and I did, and I'm so grateful that I had that chance.
So you didn't have to do a chicken dance like me?
You had to do a chicken dance.
So when I worked at Disney, I was like a Disney star. I didn't have to put on a suit or anything.
He did a chick
No,
dance, not a
Oh,
I
chicken.
do we have footage of this? Like, is this something that we could
oh,
see?
my former boss from Disney actually watches the show sometimes. I'm gonna have to hit her up. Yeah,
Please,
but,
please, that is something that needs to
Definitely
be
a baby chick dance, I'm sure.
okay, enough about me. We have a special guest backstage. Frank Amaral is coming up. Lee, let's get to the news. Don't worry about my chicken dance, folks. Over to you, Lee.
Oh, Sherry, that was a good one. Thanks, Jamal and Sherry. And good morning to everyone that's tuned in with us on this fantastic Friday. I hope you all are having a great start to this day. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Well, as we've been discussing, the figures released in the National Youth Employment Strategy have been revealed that almost 1 in 3 young Bermudian adults are unemployed. Now, according to that strategy, which is aimed at tackling the issue, it was released by Minister of Economy and Labor, Jason Hayward, who said that the latest official figures would have been roughly around 30%, while the overall unemployment rate was 7%. In other news, meteorologists are keeping a close eye on what could become the first named storm of the 2022 hurricane season. Now, as of yesterday, the system was located over Mexico's peninsula, more than 1,500 miles west southwest of Bermuda. Now, should the system reach tropical storm length, it could become Tropical Storm Alex. The Bermuda Weather Service said that as of this morning, the closest point of approach to Bermuda within the next 72 hours is forecast to be about 228 nautical miles to the west of the island at 6 a.m. on Monday. Now, it is said that the system was a potential threat to Bermuda. The 2022 Atlantic hurricane season began on Wednesday with early forecasts suggesting a busier than normal season. 1 month on, and investigations continue into the house explosion that claimed the lives of 2 victims. Now, inquiries by police and the fire service continued yesterday to determine the cause of the apartment blast at Hilltop Court in Southampton. Police said earlier that gas could have caused the explosion, which injured 3 other people and sadly killed Oscar and Jove Mascarenas and collapsed part of the building at about 8:50 p.m. back on May 2nd. A joint investigation was launched by the Bermuda Police Service as well as the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service. Now, they say once the investigation has concluded, a decision will be made regarding whether a file will be sent to the coroner, the Department of Public Prosecutions, or both. And for our Feel Good Friday news today, we are congratulating the winners of the annual Balco Kite Safety Poster campaign this year. Now, this year's winners included 5-year-old Lyric Davis Marshall, 5-year-old Kate Kerwin, and 6-year-old Messiah Baker. The competition, which is now in its 33rd year, received more than 100 primary school students entries and was open to primary 1 and primary 2 students. Now, the best overall poster was awarded to 5-year-old P1 student Lyric from East End Primary, who received a $500 toy voucher and a $500 Balco voucher. The best kite safety message poster was awarded to P1 student Kate from Summersfield Academy, who received a $250 toy voucher as her prize, while the most beautiful poster was awarded to P2 student Messiah from West End Primary School, who received a prize of a $250 toy voucher as well. Now, if you wish to see the winning posters, just head over to Balco's Facebook page at Balco Bermuda. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 79 and a low near 72 degrees. Today, we'll see cloudy spells with a few showers about that will ease by night. Now, this weather is due to a slow-moving weak low, which will bring about increasing clouds and a few showers to our area during the next couple of days. Now, unfortunately, the rainy weather will continue as late Sunday. A stronger low pressure system approaches from the southwest and promises to bring rather wet and windy conditions for the start of next week. Now, as we say, this system continues to be closely monitored for a potential tropical cyclone developing. That's all for our Daily Hour news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Now let's head back to Jamal and Sherry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
All right, what we've got for the day of the year there.
Well, today is Global Bicycle Day. The bicycle is one of the most important inventions in the history of them on the planet. It provides millions of people with a means of transportation powered by nothing other than their bodies. It's particularly reliable and helps one to stay fit, fun and hassle-free way to get around and take care of daily tasks. World Bicycle Day is the United Nations attempt to recognize the vital importance of the bicycle across the globe.
Well, I would go ride on my bicycle today, but it's bad weather. Leanna just told you about some tropical depression crap out there because of hurricane season.
Sherry, when's the last time you were on a bike?
Last month. I like to cycle. Okay. Yeah, I like to cycle a lot.
So it's just me that hasn't touched a bicycle in like 10 years.
You won't be doing it for another few months at least. Real quickly, before we let you go, Lee, almost 3 years ago, MP Chris Famous told me he wanted to connect me with a young lady who was interested in returning to radio. Though I didn't know her, that lady, MP Famous spoke highly of this person after a chance encounter that he had with her. Somehow we connected. My partners and I had a meeting with her in early 2020. Though we had nothing available at the time, we all knew we definitely wanted to work with her in the future. A year later, the opportunity came. We were excited to welcome Sherry Vanderpool to the team. Believe it or not, Sherry and I have never met in person, but you'll never know it based on how we engage. That said, Sherry is one of the absolute best people I've had the privilege of working with. Hold on, let me preface that. Even when she puts me in my place when no one's watching or listening. I have so much love and respect and appreciation for how she has helped all of us grow in such a short time. Sherry's selfless attitude and amazing personality make an exceptional teammate who we know we can always count on. Sherry, thank you for all that you do and for believing in what we're doing to improve our community. Congrats on 1 year on the Daily Hour. June 4th would be tomorrow.
We love you, Sherry.
Okay, turn off my camera.
Just turn. Somebody's chopping onions over there.
You know, on that note, Lee, have a wonderful weekend.
You guys too.
Frank Amaral coming up, CEO of One Communications. Lee, we love you too. We'll check you next
See you
week.
guys later.
All right.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
We're featuring a range of remarkably effective household cleaning solutions made with ecologically sound ingredients and pleasing fragrances from Ecos, a company with over 50 years' experience producing plant-powered cleaning products. The founder was a veteran chemist in the cleaning products industry and started up Ecos as a response to the harsh chemicals he had routinely encountered. Try Ecos non-abrasive cream cleanser, vinegar window cleaner, and in spray bottles, Orange Plus and Parsley Plus cleaners, shower and floor cleaners, furniture polish, and stain and odor remover. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field. Number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. Big baby Sherry Vanderpool there. I'm John Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed on our website. Go do it now, thedailyhour.com, so you don't miss a chance for updates, promotions, prizes, and more. Also, if you're on the go and can't watch, that's okay. Download the BCG Radio app, available for both Android and Apple devices, and you can be like all those others who are listening to us every single time we go live. Sherry, you done crying so we can bring Frank in?
It was just like, the lights.
I don't want Frank.
My eyes.
I need Frank's good energy. He brings good energy. I don't need him crying because of you. All right, let's bring Frank Amaral, CEO of One Communications, on the show. Frank, good morning.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you.
You're wrapping me up, Sherry. How you guys this morning?
We're good. We're good.
That's quite the little. That's quite the accolade you got there from Jamel. A little early in the morning for that. No, it's like.
But I'm just happy it's recorded because he definitely would take it back.
No, Frank, I try to keep that stuff for our private chats, right? And they always say, "Oh, I'm going to save this," and I have to delete it, right? But no, it's been amazing working with these guys. Liana just did a year with us now. Sherry, they are great. But look, welcome back, because speaking of this show, we started it over 2 years ago, and you were one of the first guests on, and happy to have you back on. Appreciate everything.
Here, man.
Yeah. You've got a great team of people that I enjoy working with, and we are excited and happy that One Communications believes in what we're doing and provides the support so that we can do this regularly. But you're not here for that. You're here to speak about some new things you got going on. First off, I want to share this story. I've shared it with Brian and Shira in the past, Brian and Shira of One Communications audience. And I remember one time I was visiting Bermuda. I was in college. I went back to Bermuda. This is a true story. I went back to Bermuda and I had T-Mobile. And when I returned to the US and I got my bill, it was, I think, $800 or $900. And I couldn't understand why, because I didn't have my phone on for long periods in Bermuda. I turned it on like when I say short periods, just like if I was out to see if anyone texted me, and turn it back off. $800 or $900. And it was then that I learned what roaming was. So, speaking of that, why is the expansion of roaming a necessary option for one communications customers?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm guessing what your experience was back then, Jamal, was probably data. When customers are using their phone for making phone calls, they know, they know how long they were on the phone, right? How many calls they made and how long they were, on the phone. But the big unknown is this thing called data, right? Nobody knows how much is getting used in the background, right? As we use our smartphones today. So, we launched Carry On roaming for data a couple of years ago, and the whole premise of it was allowing people to have certainty around what it was going to cost to use their phone for roaming while they were traveling. So when we launched it a couple of years ago, was a game changer for people because what the product generally does is you're automatically given a daily 24-hour bucket of data. You can then decide if you want to buy more data. If you do nothing, it automatically renews every day for a flat amount of money. And so when you come back to Bermuda and get your bill, when it comes to roaming data, you know exactly how much you spent because we're sending you text messages. You can opt in for more data, so you know exactly how much you spent. So the big thing that we're talking about today is back in November we launched another first for Bermuda, which was unlimited data for our carry-on roaming product, and that was in November of last year. It was just for the U.S. What we're happy to report that we've made some major improvements to unlimited carry-on roaming data. So number one is besides it being just for the U.S., we've now added the U.K., Canada, and 15 countries in the Caribbean, what we call Caribbean Select. It's the biggest, most popular destinations for Bermudians when they travel. And then the second big change that we did was we more than doubled the amount of data that you get to use in that 24-hour daily period. It used to be 100 megs of data, a fast data for 24 hours. It's now 250 megs of fast data. So what people will find is that when they spend the $10 for the day for the 24 hours, right, that will be more than enough data that they will use. Even after you've used up your allotment of fast data, we give you slower data. It is good enough for browsing. It is good enough for making WhatsApp calls. So you get this. It's the notion of just having a flat rate for the day in those destinations I just rattled off.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the industry term for what that you described on your T-Mobile bill is called bill shock.
Well, I was gonna say, no, like literally, as I'm listening to you, I'm just like, this is what everybody wants. We want to know what it's gonna be rather than bill shock. Like that's what got me. And when you're in college, a broke college student like me,
oh yeah, man,
have $800, $900 to pay on a bill.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You discussed just now that, this new roaming plan is the first for Bermuda. But how long has one been working on this expansion? And is it as easy as some may think to expand roaming while ensuring, as Jamal just pointed out, it's affordable?
Yeah, sorry. The biggest thing for us is, there is a cost to us to provide roaming to customers when they land, say in the U.S. and they're attached to the AT&T network. We actually buy that usage from our from those other carriers. And so, over the years, it's a continuous exercise with our roaming team is to negotiate down the rates that we pay. The better rates that we pay, we those savings, right, we effectively pass on to our customers. So this unlimited data product that we have for the U.S., Canada, UK, and the 15 Caribbean destinations, we anticipate that will continue to grow, and so people should watch out for that. That and we're a little operator, so we're negotiating with some big players like Vodafone and, like I said, AT&T. So it takes a little while, and there's some effort.
And thank you for sharing that, because I don't think we realize, as we talked about earlier, expanding our mind beyond Bermuda, that there's other entities that are
Yeah.
part of this whole puzzle piece. As you stated, one began this unlimited data roaming into the US in November of 2021. How important was it to expand the feature to the UK and now 15 islands in the Caribbean?
Well, we like the idea of, for any destination that you're jumping on a plane and landing in, those direct destinations that Bermuda has, that it was important to be able to provide, unlimited data in those jurisdictions. To be clear, our carry-on roaming product, right? It is so in other destinations, it's still $10 for the 24 hours, but you get less data and it's not unlimited. So you still have all the control that you need, right? In all the countries that you roam in. But that was the idea. And with unlimited, people like unlimited, right? It's this I can use it without thinking about it too much. Before we expanded it beyond the US, if you're on WhatsApp and sending pictures to your friends, right? You're gonna maybe think twice about do I send the 20 pictures of hanging out with the girls in the restaurant that night, or do I just send one? Well, now you can send them all, and then of course on top of all that, right, you can still use Wi-Fi. So.
And I was just going to say that, because I think I spend most of the time, and when I'm traveling outside of the US, do you have Wi-Fi? Is it Wi-Fi? You're opening up your thing to see if it has Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's painful. And as we know, Bermudians love to travel, and the more the world is opening up and the more people will be abroad, how did one go about choosing specifically the destinations to focus on for roaming? I know you touched on it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's a function of what I said about where flights land, right? But the reality is too, as we have partners who will give us better deals, or the pricing that we need, right, to be able to offer unlimited in those markets. So that is a big part of why the list is the list that it is. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And as you said, remember, when I'm away, of course, I want to post. I want to do, and I want to do it right there instead of waiting. So being able to stay connected with our loved ones, and more importantly, being able to have access to social media, it's probably more important than access to our loved ones, is very important. Why is it important to deliver the needs for your customers and have that on a regular basis?
We firmly believe in being number one in Bermuda, right? In terms of the services that we offer, we believe we are that leader. So we want our customers to be happy. We when it comes to roaming, right? You've seen people sitting on the plane, right? When they're leaving, when they're coming home, swapping out their SIM cards, right? Those SIM cards keep on getting smaller and smaller, right? So that's a hassle, right? So we don't want people to go through all of that. I know there's probably listeners thinking and say, hey, Frank, it's still too expensive to roam, to use your roaming product. That's why I'm going to pop in my T-Mobile SIM. One of the things that people forget is when you put in that US SIM while you're traveling, right? You lose your Bermuda cell phone number, right? So if you've got a loved one or somebody important who's trying to track you down, right? Let's say you made a reservation at a restaurant, and they're trying to get a hold of you because they can't honor your reservation anymore. Well, guess what? If you got your T-Mobile SIM in your phone, they're not going to be able to call you, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to get through. So You can leave your OneCom SIM in your phone, get all your phone calls like you usually do, right? And it's a better way to travel.
I think what you just explained is how we've evolved, though. I think we've evolved from a time where people would get what's those things called a temporary SIM card overseas when they travel to, you know what? It makes more sense. It's cheaper. It's more convenient to just pay for a roaming plan. I think that's where we are. And we speak earlier about, young people, preparing them for things that don't yet exist. I think this plan is making it easier for people. And I really hope people understand that,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, we're actually going to give away, Frank, this has nothing to do with Frank. We have our gift cards from our sponsor. We're going to be giving away after Frank's gone, so that you don't think he's giving you extra. We're going to give you a gift card to One Communication. So we'll give the hashtag for today. I'll tell you what it's going to be once this conversation is done. But Frank, I want to just touch on go elsewhere. So obviously One Communications, roaming, cell phone service. What other services? Because I know in the US when I first came in 2001, everything was bundle service. What are some of the services that people can bundle from One Communications?
The bundle is really on the home side, so it's about TV and internet. That's the big one. And the other thing that we've launched in the last year or so, which is also bundled in with the residential broadband services, is our home security and automation product. Like I said, it's new. The most popular thing that people are buying within that product set is video cameras. So right now you can subscribe to a three camera product, a small fee to get it installed. We do all the work for you. You don't have to buy the equipment. It's from a company called Alarm.com. Very slick app on your phone. You can integrate other products that we offer onto that system. So you can start off with, let's say, cameras, and then you can move to buying sensors and other devices, right, for the home security type product. And then you can even evolve to having that professionally monitored, right? So that's a new add-on to our bundle for the home. And and the other one, the big one that we've had now for a few years, right, is our One Home Eero Mesh Wi-Fi service. So a lot of customers think that the modem that you get, right, does the trick in terms of getting Wi-Fi through your house. And there's two aspects to what people call internet or Wi-Fi in the house. It's delivering the internet connection to that modem. And then from the modem on, right, is what we call Wi-Fi, right? The two things are very different, right? Customers will say, well, I'm not getting my speed, right? Well, in a number of cases, it's because they have not very good Wi-Fi in their homes. So we recognized that a couple of years ago. We introduced Eero Mesh, which is one of the leading Wi-Fi mesh products. Mesh is a lot better than these repeaters that people like, the cheap repeaters that people like to put through their homes. These mesh units actually talk to each other. They self-optimize, and they work really well with getting through, Bermudian construction, right, in a home, big concrete walls. And so that is all bundled into our internet too. And again, you don't have to buy it. You just rent the units from us. You can buy as many as you want, depending upon how big your home is and how great the Wi-Fi coverage that you want. So that's another big one.
And then I was going to say, you can monitor your security when you're in Georgia on your phone.
Yeah.
No, the options are amazing. I want to ask the audience something real quickly before Frank goes. Are you a One Communications customer? Yes or no? Give it to me in the audience. Amanda Blakeney says, I was in Barbados the other day and this service worked wonderfully. I've had good service even in the hills. Happy customer. So that's one. That's one. We've got a question for you, Frank. Tanya Cheeseman is asking, does this apply to prepaid, the roaming service?
Great question. I failed to mention that, unfortunately, yes, it is for postpaid only right now, but we are working to have it to be available to prepaid customers as well.
All righty. And it looks like everyone's a yes so far. One Communications customer, Karen Sims, Mark Arthur C. Phillips. We have a no. So we're working on you, Marquita Lee. We know you're loyal.
Give me a call. Give me a call. I can hook you up.
Come on, let's get to Frank. Shonette Bell. Yeah, I'm impressed, honestly. I don't know if they're lying to me because Frank's here, but it's a
Did you see that?
Yeses.
Did you see that 23 plus years or something?
23 plus. I must say, since day one, day one, Frank, I must say, and I say this in all seriousness, if people watch this show, right? We have probably one of the most loyal audiences. And I've worked in radio and TV in Bermuda and overseas. And this group of people makes this worth doing every day. And I say this as you leave. I am so appreciative that you and One Communications, your team, took a chance on us and support the work that we're doing. Now that the world's opening back up, we hope to do even more outside with the audience. So thank you.
Jamal, it wasn't really a big chance, right? I mean, you guys are phenomenal. Your format is, should have been here, a long time ago, right? So we love you guys and think you're doing a super important, job. You have a role in this community, right? So. And we're just so super glad you guys are here.
Thank you, Frank. And please don't make me wait 2 more years.
Don't cry, Sherry.
I know, right? I'm biting the inside of my cheek. I'm like, don't do it, Sherry.
it was coming, Frank. Look, don't make us wait 2 years until you come back.
Yeah, for sure. I'm here. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be in touch.
Talk soon. Yeah, man. Bye.
All right. Frank Amaral, CEO of One Communications. Folks, if you appreciated that conversation, found it helpful, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We're going to take a break. We're going to give away a gift card for One Communications. When we come back, we'll give you the hashtag in a second. So give us some time. But Sherry, that is
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Right.
I'm just a little glassy.
Okay, no. They were in there. They were like, oh, Sherry, and happy on and then Phil, your big brother Phil, big baby too. Jackie Eve, what a tribute to my happy anniversary.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Look,
you, Mama.
All right, and Pam stays talking. Well, let's take a quick break. The audience wants a reward. They want a reward for having to put up with you for a year. So let's go to commercial and come back. Well, I said that out loud, didn't I?
You did.
We'll be right back.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All righty. Welcome back to the big show. It's the Daily Hour. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hart. And thanks again to CEO of One Communications, Frank Amaral, for stopping by. Appreciate the information, wealth of knowledge and communication of what One is doing. And we can't be honestly grateful enough for them partnering with us to bring this show to you. every day. I'm excited that we have partners like One Communications to ensure that we do this. Now, Sherry, let's it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Sherry, I'm ready. Let's just give it to me.
Wait, how many questions do I have?
Give me 3. I'm gonna get them all in like 2 seconds.
Okay, no worries. This 1996 song was written by Diane Warren with the lyrics, "I cried so many nights." Who sung the song?
Who the hell's Diane Warren? Ain't nobody know that answer.
It's a woman. I cried so many nights.
Cried so many nights.
All right.
Tony Braxton.
Exactly, Tony Braxton. Okay, 2 more. Singer Michael McDonald is a part of what group?
I know. Michael McDonald. Michael McDonald, not the Commodores.
Nope.
Oh, I forgot to start. Michael McDonald was part of what group? The audience isn't helping. Like, they always help you guys. All I'm doing is laughing at me, Mario Santucci. I mean,
focus, Jamal.
Give me
one more question.
Jerry, Michael McDonald was a part of the OJs.
No, you know that's wrong. The Doobie Brothers. The Doobie Brothers, which I will be seeing next week. I'm excited.
I was born in the 80s. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. And this one is a local question. The jazz radio show in Bermuda called The Downbeat was hosted by whom?
The Downbeat?
You should know this, Jamal.
A jazz show?
A jazz show used to come on Saturday nights. Then you should be getting.
I listen to World Baby Love during the day. See, somebody said Cousin Juicy though.
Absolutely, Derek Cousin Juicy Simons.
Man, ain't nobody know that. Like I was.
Everybody knows that.
Voice, man.
Jamal, everybody knows that.
I didn't get 1 out of 3 because I was eager for the last 2 questions. You guys didn't hear my throat. I sprained my throat. Those don't count.
Congratulations, Karen. Yes, Cousin Juicy.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yes, he does.
Of course, she was born in like the 40s, so she's giving me questions from back then.
The 40s. Okay, one last one. Who was the 2016 Bermuda Idol? 2016.
No idea. I haven't followed Bermuda Idol since I worked there.
Okay, I'll leave. I'll see if somebody in the audience gets it while we.
Well, anyway, let's wrap it up. Hashtag, folks. Hashtag is the Daily Hour for your chance to win a gift card. I don't know how much the gift card's for, but gift card for One Communications today. Hashtag is the Daily Hour. Sister Sherry, final thoughts on today's show.
Find industries that young Bermudians are interested in and make a solid plan that has actions behind it. Very simple. Mr. Frank, but I call everybody by the first name, Mr. Frank. I loved everything that he said about what One Communications is doing, roaming, and having unlimited roaming data in the UK, in United States, in the Caribbean countries is awesome, and I appreciate what he's doing.
Indeed. Well, I think from the unemployment thing, we need to figure out what young people are good at, and we need to align them with spaces that may have opportunities for them when they're ready to be in this space.
Yeah.
It is an issue, but I think Teresa and Marie said it best. I'd like to figure out the other 70% where they are, what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that they're likely underemployed. That's just my personal opinion. Frank Amaral, honestly, I appreciate the information. Now, again, I had a very bad roaming experience when I was young. And so to me, this is big. This is huge. I was one of those people, Sherry, who began taking the SIM card out and putting US SIM card in.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like I was that person. So when he said that, it hit me like, this is so much better than doing that, right? But no, it's I don't think I like the question you asked, because I don't think people realize small little Bermuda having to negotiate with big companies in big countries. It's not easy, but people would never know this. We have expectations, but I don't know if our expectations are necessarily realistic. So Vodafone, AT&T, Verizon, all these different companies, they have to negotiate with them. That's not easy. So it's huge. It's like your government negotiating with other big governments, just that these are private companies. So understand the work that's taking place. I think they're ready for the giveaway, huh, Sherry?
Okay. And you still didn't come up with the answer?
Oh no, we're past that. Let's do the drum roll, girl. Let's see.
I'm gonna tell you the answer.
Big money, big money, big money, big money, big money.
Big dollars.
Mario said one who was laughing at me.
Yes.
Santucci, congratulations to you, Mario Santucci. Please send an email to engage@thedailyhour.com so that we can ensure you get your gift card to One Communications. I will remind you that the person in charge of that is currently on a wonderful vacation in the Middle East, so she will get to it next week when she returns.
Tell her business.
I didn't say where.
The answer to the question is Jesse Seymour. Now for our daily inspiration.
Now you got me feeling guilty. Okay, go ahead.
Daily inspiration. Values are like fingerprints. Nobody's are the same, but you leave them all over everything you do. And Elvis Presley said that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And you just made me think of something. First off, again, condolences to Jesse.
Yes.
We'll be having a service for his mom's passing tomorrow. But it would be so disrespectful if I didn't repeat what I wrote on my personal Facebook page. So we lost somebody this week. And I just want to read what I wrote there. How growing up, I really enjoyed going to work with my nana because she'd have the talk shows on. And it was David Lopes first, then the Silver Fox himself, Mr. Everest DaCosta, who I actually learned so much from as it relates to Bermuda's politics. As a child, I only knew of their voices, but as I grew older and began working in this space, along with the fight to end conscription, I got to know both men. In the summer of 2011, I returned to Bermuda and had the opportunity to work with Mr. DaCosta. Though it was only a 6-week stint, I quickly realized what made him so special in that space. He didn't seem to operate with bias. He treated everyone fairly, regardless of political affiliation. He challenged callers and was always so well informed. He made you understand that while everyone has opinions, having the facts to support your positions is more important than feelings. Let me repeat that. Having the facts to support your positions is more important than feelings. Bermuda has lost a broad radio broadcaster and legend, a teacher, a man who kept people honest and used his platform to improve political conversations on island. Since his departure, talk radio has not been the same. I am grateful for his service to the community through radio and hopeful that his legacy will live on. And Everest DaCosta, one of the best to do it. May he rest peacefully. One of the best. So on that note, folks, it's Sherry.
Yeah.
Favorite time of the week, not mine. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. She's Sherry Vanderpool and Joanne Hartman, my friends. Make it a safe and great weekend.
I don't have my cup today.
I got mine.